Number 1, taping joists, using joist tape. So this is one that there's always people that are like, this is unnecessary. I've torn out 30-year-old decks. They're fine. I don't use this. I think it's a cash grab. It's useless. So what's your take on taping joists? Yay or nay on this?
It's a cash grab.
He's going to take the path of...
I sell the tape. I make money on it.
Yeah.
So truthfully, if it's brand new framing, I tell people this in the store all the time. If it's brand new framing, I don't think it's necessary. I think it is necessary to tape your beams, and I think it's necessary to tape your flat block. But if you're doing a brand new deck with brand new joists, I don't tell people that they should do that, but they should tape their beams and flat blocking. If it's a resurface, I think it is necessary.
Okay. So to play devil's advocate, if somebody was installing a pressure treated or a cedar deck that doesn't necessarily need to be oiled, do you tell them that they should probably maintain it if they want it to last longer?
No. I just tell them.
Get him a shot of Fireball. Like
if you, I'd puke. I'd be over and be like, boof. Yeah, I tell them they should maintain their deck surface, but you walk on the cedar and you walk on the pressure treated. You don't walk on your joists. Like it doesn't get anywhere. And
no, but that's not the purpose of the tape. Isn't to prevent people from walking.
I can tell already.
Well, it's sure beats fighting dudes with treasure trails.
So the joists, they only have a 1/4 inch of space that you actually see if you use a hidden fastener, right? Like, so say you use a Trex Hideaway clip or a Fibron Phantom clip.
Yep.
Most of that joist is actually even covered. And then the deck board covers the other 5 inches, and then the clip covers like, it just about has no contact with air or with water.
Okay.
And so I don't think it's necessary.
So then why bother taping redecks if the water's not getting there in the first place?
Because a redeck is usually poked full of holes.
But if the water's not getting to the hole, if you think that the board's covering the hole and the clip's covering the hole.
Yep. Yeah. Then I don't think then we should dump it.
Okay.
No selling tape anymore.
Yeah. Here's my opinion on this. When I was still building decks, I had made this a standard thing. I was taping the joists. And the reason was because I believe it does work. And I believe the cost is almost inconsequential. It's in the overall scheme of the project, it's a very low cost to pay. It works out to, like, materials wise anyway, is about 50 cents a square foot to tape all your joists. And your deck that you're building is probably, if you're doing it yourself, you're paying $30 to $50 a square foot in materials. If you're hiring somebody, you're adding $20+ a square foot for that. So to add another 50 cents a square foot for just the materials or a few bucks for installed, very small price to pay to ensure that your framing lasts longer. So why not? I agree with you that when we're selling materials, just as like, because at the end of the day, we have to sell people what they want. We can give them all the information and make suggestions as much as we want, but we're not going to force anybody to do anything. We just have to make sure that we've given them enough information to make a good, informed decision.
Yes.
So it's not like it's not, if somebody says, no, I don't want to use the joist tape, it's like, well, then I'm not selling you any of the framing. Like, that's not happening.
Right.
That's not happening.
Yep.
So for that reason, I also say if it's brand new framing, it's like, it's up to you. It's not like, you don't have to do this.
Correct.
You also don't have to change the oil at your car at 3,000 miles. You can push it to 4 if you want. Is it a wise idea? Maybe not. But
I know some people that have original oil in their car. Just leave it in there.
First stuff, eh?
First stuff.
So I think it's a great idea. We always talk in the store about how we think it's pretty important to tape your beams, like your laminated lumber and your flat blocking and all those areas where water can collect quite easily and not dry out. We say that's probably a good idea to do that. But taping all your joists, we always say this is an optional thing. If it's me, I think it's a great idea. I think for the cost of it, you might as well do it. It makes sense. It does work. I don't know. There's no there's no guarantee of how many years it's going to add to the life of your framing, but it for sure in theory works. If the cause of something happening is water is getting on it and that's causing the rot, and you stop the water from getting on it, then obviously that's going to help it not rot.
Yep.
So it's effective. So I'm a big fan of taping joists. I know there's a lot of guys out there like, it doesn't matter, you don't need to do it. But their reference point is always that they've torn out these old decks, and that's the problem. It's not the same lumber as it was 30 years ago.
Correct.
It's not as dense.
Not even close.
It's like it does not last as long. It is young growth lumber. It's more porous. It's not as dense. It takes in water easier and it rots faster.
Yep.
You see guys all the time saying they're going back out to jobs and replacing boards after 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years.
Yep.
It's like these things aren't lasting 30 years anymore.
They are not.
So the comments from the Instagram here are that we've got a comment from the deck dude that says, might as well tape them. You're putting a product meant to last forever on top of a product that will eventually rot. And so that's my thing too. Most of these products you're putting on there, it's like minimum 25-year warranty if you've got a good product.
Yep.
Some of them up to 50.
Yes.
Some of the PVCs are lifetime warranty.
Yep.
And you can't guarantee that your framing will last any of those amounts.
Correct.
If you do nothing, it's probably like 15 years. And again, this depends on the area and how much water you're getting and so on and so forth.
Yes.
Like rain's going to play into that. But
yep.
Mintcon Deck says treatment isn't as good as it was on the 30-year-old deck. And that's exactly right. So the other part to that is we talked about the lumber. It's like it used to be old growth, tight ring stuff that just didn't absorb water like the new stuff does. And the treatments have changed.
Yeah. Because
So
everybody's all sensitive. They don't want to get sick
pump this
anymore.
stuff full of arsenic anymore.
Yep.
And so a few years back, the types of treatment that you were allowed to use changed, and you're not allowed to use it. This is the same with anything. With any like
Yep.
paints and oils, it's like all of a sudden these VOC rules came in, and like nothing works as well as it used to because it has to be safer, so on and so forth. And the treatment's no different. They had to remove some of the bad stuff out of it. Unfortunately, that bad stuff was really good at like
preventing water.
preventing rot and insects and everything else. So for those reasons, I think the tape is a great idea. For those who think it's not, they're wrong.
You're wrong. You're wrong, Colonel Sanders.
Simcoe Deck says use steel framing. So if you want to just skip it all, you don't have to worry about tape at all, then
That
sure,
would work.
use steel
Yeah,
framing.
it's
Talking about a completely different price point.
Slightly more than $2.50 a square foot added to that. But
yeah, more like 2.5 times
so
the square foot.
he's
But
not wrong.
terrible.
Steel
No, he's not
framing
wrong.
steel framing is the way of the
That
future.
would be even better.
Yep.
Right? That's not doesn't matter. You don't have to worry about tape working or not working there. It's just like, it's not going to rot.
Correct. Once the fasteners catch up, I think steel framing will go quite a bit better.
Well, Camo's supposed to have their self-tapping Camo edge clip, right?
Yeah, well, that's it. Somebody's just got to make
And so
something that's more available.
That'll be a game changer right there.
Trex has one right now, but it's like, for us, it's hard to get.
Yeah.
So